Everyone to the meeting of North East Derbyshire District Council's Cabinet. I'm Alex Dale, I'm the leader of the District Council, and I'm joined by several Cabinet colleagues, as well as several officers as well in the chamber. And we have Councillor Mark Foster joining us via Zoom. Before we start with the meeting, I think I'd just like to say I think we're all aware of the news around the poor health of the Queen, Her Majesty the Queen, and obviously we wish to express on behalf of the Council our thoughts and prayers are very much with the family at this very difficult time. Yeah, just wanted to express that and make that answer. The first item is apologies for absence. Have we received them?
I haven't received any apologies, Chair.
Okay. I think we'll note the apologies of Councillor Parkin because he's not here. I think he did say he was having some issues that he wasn't able to make it. Next item is declaration of interest. Are there any? Okay. Minutes of the last meeting held on the 4th of August. Are we all happy to confirm those are true, accurate record? I'll move them.
Second, Chair.
Thanks. All those in favour? Okay, that's carried. And then the first item is the out of hours scrutiny review. Now we don't have Councillor Tate in attendance at the moment. He's the chair of the Community Scrutiny Committee. But my colleague Councillor Cupit is aware of the scrutiny review and is obviously the relevant portfolio holder. So she's going to just talk briefly about what the committee's decided.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, the committee looked into the provision of an out of hours sort of specific service for the council to deal with water factors and also managing private health. They considered similar services elsewhere, such as bowls over cam ranges, and also the sort of extremes of that option, be it sort of dedicated team or sort of specific sort of hours. I think they've come to the conclusion as a result of their interviews that there isn't sufficient demand at the time or sort of reasonable cost to warrant a specific team being set up, and that the council's sort of employment procedures and policies already sort of allow for out of hours work by existing officers where needed. For instance, if I'm doing sort of late night visits to food and drink establishments, etc. So I think what the scrutiny committee are recommending is that we sort of look at that in more detail, and that we also publicise that more, because I think one of the things that came out of the review is that particularly residents or members, when it is out of hours, weekends, bank holiday weekends, if they need to contact somebody, it's not always entirely clear because the council's contact centre is not operating at that time. So that's the main recommendation they're making, is to sort of have that key contact list. So I'm happy to sort of move to accept those recommendations and note them. The one thing I'd like to add is sort of relevant portfolio member, whether we have it as a recommendation, but very like it's a scrutiny report, whether we just note it as an action, is just if we could review this in say 6 months or a year, just to have a look at whether that new dedicated page is working, and whether how much out of hours we are providing when it's needed, so that we can look if there's additional overtime or if it's having a cost on the council or whether anything else. That's, I don't know, the best way to sort of include that.
You can add that as an executive.
So yeah, on that basis, adding that sort of review in 6 months a year, probably 6 months, is about right, just the action. I'd be happy to move that.
Thank you, Councillor Cupit. Happy to second that, and obviously thank all the members of the committee for all of their work on it. Are there any more comments? No? Are we happy to go to a vote then? All those in favour? Yeah, it's carried. Okay, thank you very much. And then the next one is the ICT and Transformation Scrutiny review by the Organisation Scrutiny Committee, and I'll hand over to Councillor Kenyon, who is the portfolio to that.
Yes, thank you. Yes, first of all, thanks to the screening committee for looking through our IT systems and digging into what we do. Much appreciated. Fresh eyes are always good. On the recommendations, a good set of recommendations. On the first one, we actually operate sort of a bit of a hybrid model at the moment. Some things are funded through individual department funds, others are done centrally. So it's a bit of a blend there. Possibly some things being more centralised would be helpful. A lot of that will interact with the second recommendation, which is moving to Office 365, which is a project that's been underway for a couple of years or more now, I think. It's a massively complex thing to shift all council systems from the old system, Microsoft 365. But it's something we're in the middle of doing already. I think we're actually, some people even trialing it live now. The single sign-on system again interacts with switching to Office 365. It's kind of building what everything built from, simplifying sign-on for our residents in particular. That's something that we will consider how we can advance that further. And the only one little bit of concern is the fourth recommendation, which is the use of the council chamber for citizens' advice to digital training and so on. We will definitely consider it, but I would say that with all the things that could be happening and the council chamber use possibly increasing for other things, it might not be viable. And also, the best one will, because we like to think of our council as the centre of the universe. We're down a little cul-de-sac, not really accessible to anybody, so might not work that well. But we'll consider all the recommendations, so happy to propose that we accept the recommendations of the report.
Okay, thanks, Councillor Kenny. I'm happy to second. Are there any other comments? If not, we'll move to vote. All those in favour? Okay, it's carried. Thank you very much. And then the next item is the risk management strategy for 2022. We don't have Councillor Park in here, so you're okay to just talk very briefly to this one.
Yes, Chair, thank you very much. So we've had this risk management strategy, we've had a risk management strategy in place for a long time. Our most recent one was a couple of years old now, so in line with best practice, we've undertaken a review. Much of the framework and processes remain unchanged, which offers us a level of reassurance that what we do is right. There are some amendments, however, and I'll just briefly tell what they are. The opening section, we've spent quite a bit of time detailing the change in our environment and our risk environment. We feel that's important for the reader, certainly external readers, and understanding that we've got our finger on the pulse and acknowledge that changing environment, and as a result, change of our action plan, our own risk register. The second change of note is around risk appetite. Risk appetite is an area that, unless you're immersed in it, it's a difficult one to get your head around. So we spent a little bit more time explaining how risk appetite is assessed and how there's not one single measure for the council. It's split into a variety of different strands depending upon the subject in question. That we've added an appendices in there that helps explain how we reach our risk management appetite. And then the final fundamental change, I guess, is the action plan. That's been updated to reflect our continual improvement requirements that we've identified. And as the report said, this is not to be confused with risk registers. Risk registers are kept and used daily by officers, and they track specific risks. So the action plan is about setting out where we go within future. Just one final addition that's not in this version that we need to add, if I may. This came about as a result of our risk management group last week, is a link to a little bit of narrative in terms of how we link to community risk registers, and that's the role we play within the LRF. A community risk register covers items that are risks to an area, emergency risks like flooding, like pandemic, which we know we've had recent experience and history of doing and managing very well through the LRF. So we are going to just add one paragraph within something. With that, Chair, I'm happy to take any questions or come back to members to accept or reject.
Thanks, Lee. Yeah, I'm happy to go with the addition of that paragraph, which will say, do we have a second? Right, any questions? All those in favour? Okay, that's carried. And then the next item is the funding to voluntary and community organisations and the summary of outcomes under the council power.
Thank you, Chair. This is a report for voting. It's actually to mention we get value for money and that we maximise all the opportunities with the support that we do give to voluntary organisations. This is to monitor how they did, how many people they helped over the year, as I say, to make sure that we're getting maximum value. We're still suffering from the repercussions of COVID in this report, which is because looking back rather than forward. There are still a raft of problems at the top of the list, I suppose, for people, which become even more acute in the next few months. It's benefits, debt, housing, and employment. And so we make sure that we target on grants to make certain that it's reaching the right people. I think it's interesting to note that over the period under review, more than 19,000 households benefit. I think that's a very significant figure. Chair, unless there are questions, I have nothing else to add. We have made sure that the monitoring process has shown that the organisations we have been supporting have worked extremely well, extremely hard, long may they continue. They're vital to the district as a whole, as well as the council and for residents in particular. So I'm happy to just recommend that we note the report. The work will come when we look forward to the next set and the challenges that they will bring in view of the current situation. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks very much, Councillor Powell. Absolutely echo the words around the voluntary sector and how they've worked very hard over the course of the past year, which is reflected in the report. So I'm very happy to second. Do we have any more comments? Okay, Councillor Ray.
Yeah, obviously really welcome the charity sector, welcome the grants that we give them, and they serve as well during COVID, very different circumstance going forward. We had a really good response to COVID, and I just wonder whether we can be here to replicate that over the next few months. As welcome the announcement today in terms of the energy cap. That gives a lot of comfort to some people, but not everybody. The government made £57 billion available, and that equates to about £1,200 to people with certain benefits. So it's just about making sure that everybody gets that level, plus the £150 for people on disability benefit. So that's a significant other chunk as opposed at the top of the cap. But there'll be still people who will fall out of the May 22 cut-off. They were quite aware through all the parishes across the district there are various pots of charitable funding that most people won't know about. So can we do it for our comms team, for the comprehensive list of some of these charities, some of the people are supporting, making sure that all these people that we are giving funds to know some of these pockets of extra help, so we can make sure the money gets to the people that need to get in our district.
Yeah, thanks, Councillor. There's absolutely a huge amount of work ongoing between officers at the moment and criminals around various levels of support in terms of the cost of crisis. And one of those, as you rightly say, is just about getting information out to residents, both about the financial support that's out there and on offer and to help them, as well as practical advice around keeping costs down as much as they possibly can. So I know there'll be some announcements over the course of probably the next week where we'll be detailing exactly how we're intending to support communities. Councillor Kenny's doing a lot of work on this as well. Jane, is there anything you want to add on that?
No, Chair, that's absolutely right. There's an officer, joint officer meeting with members of the cabinet next Tuesday, I believe. That's the start point for forming the action plan, and you're absolutely right, comms is going to be critical front and centre of this, which is why I want to be heavily. So yeah.
thanks very much. Okay, so on that basis, we'll go to vote. I think that's all those in favour? Thank you, that's carried. And there are no other urgent items, so I'm happy to declare the meeting closed. Thanks everyone for your attendance.